And so don't say anything secret because you'll be recorded. Don't talk about nobody. You know, I had a meeting this morning, believe it or not, with the commissioner of labor over in the Virgin Islands. Could you believe that Coach is actually? It's gonna sound weird, but I'm one of his mentors. I remember when he first got into labor. He was in education, and the governor over there asked him to become commissioner of labor, and he contacted me. He said, Coach, I'm learning workforce development. Could you? I knew him from when he was in education. So great guy, great guy. So we're trying to do some things. So how's everybody been? Everybody good? All right. Go in the chat feature and just tell me something good. What's been going on? Like anything good happening in your life or in your career or I'm less than 30 days from being a father-in-law, so that's good for me, huh? I'm excited about that. I'm a little less financially positioned as a result. But hey, I got one more to go. And okay, one of your participants successfully. Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. That's what I'm saying. That is a step in the right direction. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. Very good. Very good. Well, I'm sure you all have so much to say, but we're gonna we're gonna jump in. And hi, Tony. Good to see you. I can't pronounce your first name, but I'll spell it Juni. You got tell me. You gotta come on. You're on mute. You're still on mute.
It's Juninho.
Janina, okay. She's on mute. She probably
Juninho, let me know if you need help getting your mic to work.
okay.
I can come
That's
over.
all right. And Melissa
I'll be
and Kayla and Lizette. Hello, Lizette. How my plants doing? They doing all right?
Uh, my ex killed my plants.
Those plants that are
All
in there? All
all
in your
70 of my veggies. Yes, he killed them, but that was my fault. He's a trucker and I know he ain't home. So, but he was trying to get into the green thumb, but it's
even the ones you had at work?
no, the ones I had at work, I actually transferred over to my home in my space
Oh,
and I
oh,
absolutely love it. I have some plants back here though that I'm still
oh, okay. All right.
enjoying,
Just want to know, Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
I still I enjoyed seeing them. So
Yes.
and but anyway, let's dive in. This PowerPoint is acting a little weird. I don't always use these things, but when I want to drive home points, I do. When I'm speaking, like if I do a keynote, I don't necessarily use them too much, but when I'm doing training, I do. But what I wanted to do today was I've kind of tapped into some new information because I'm constantly researching and studying and all of that. I'm actually in the process of getting certified in neurosciences because I'm trying to learn more. I think in life you always want to learn and grow, and so I'm learning some things that are. It's interesting in going through the certification process because I'm learning some things that are enlightening but weird. Because when you start looking at like the brain and what's going on in our heads, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in there, but it's good stuff. So I did want to share one little bit of information there. So um, I want to start by sharing it's like sharing a story with you about this young man I knew. And no, but this young man, I tell you, when you think about his life when he was a kid, and I'm gonna take it off of this for now. There are all kinds of obstacles around that could have prevented him from truly maximizing his potential. And that's what I love about my work because I get to see these things and interact with them quite a bit. But, everybody in the world sort of, not everybody, because he had people that loved him. Yeah. And, but a lot of people doubted his potential because of his attitude. He was kind of like an angry little boy. And you ever seen an angry little kid? They just get upset about everything. How many of you were that angry kid? No, don't have to tell us that. And but he cared. People cared about him and all that, but he struggled. His early stages of his life, everything was a mess. He kept getting into trouble. He'd go to school, he'd get suspended. In his community, people cared about him, and then as he grew up into adulthood, he struggled with insecurity. He struggled with doubt. He struggled with his own self-image, everything, his struggle. And so there's a point in his 20s where he was like, I don't know about this anymore. I don't know. What am I doing? Why am I here? What's going on? And so there was one person in his life that first of all was always there for him, but then said something to him that he didn't understand, but that person's words were so powerful that it just changed his life. And the man looked at him and said this. He had played football, and he looked at him when he was sitting on the bench one time and said, "You know what? You're going to grow up and become a Renaissance man." And this young man was like, "What in the world is a Renaissance man?" Like it's like a statue or something. Like, what do you mean by that? What's a Renaissance man? But that person's words stuck with that kid, and he never forgot it. Ladies and gentlemen, that kid is Daryl Coach D. Andrews. Telling you my story. You see, people see me now and they think, oh, this guy, he's always motivational. He's no, he doesn't understand our situations. He's never been like I was. Please. Seriously? If you'd have known me in my 20s and maybe into some of my 30s, you would not have ever thought that I would be where I am right now, sharing these words with you. Never. Because I didn't even believe in myself. I doubted myself. People would try to say things to me and I would say, no, never me. But that man's words stuck with me throughout my life. And then one day they kicked in. I'm here to tell you this. You could be the one person that shares the one set of words with a person and change their lives forever. You really can. It's amazing sometimes. I almost get into tears when I think about it because sometimes I think about if I didn't embrace that man's words or if he would not have said them to me years ago, would I be here today doing this? Would I be a father, husband, doing the things I'm doing? So I want you to write this down in the chat feature real quick and just write in there real fast. My words matter. Please write that down. My words count. My words matter. My words matter. Thank you. Appreciate that, yo. Because you never know what those words are going to do to the person that you're talking to. That's it. Thank you. I appreciate it. You see? And so I want to let you know this. This is really interesting, friends. Don't look at your life and think in any way that what I've become is what I am. Okay. I'm just saying this to all of us. This is not just one person. Realize that what you become is where you are, but that's not where you have to stay. You know what I mean? I'm just talking to you all now. Yep. People, thank you, Bridget. People can change. And so can you, and so can I. And so from that statement, I started reading books and listening to people. Some of y'all kind of young, some of y'all might not remember Zig Ziglar. I used to listen to Zig Ziglar's messages over and over again. He's a motivational speaker. And here I am today. And so when I built my workforce development model, two models we had called Hype and Basic. Hype was a youth program that we had in Delaware and in Chester County, Chester, Pennsylvania. And then we built the Basic program, which is a job readiness, very similar to what you're doing, but not, you guys have more moving parts. Ours was more on job readiness and job placement. And so, and those two programs became recognized by the U.S. Department of Labor for their outcomes. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that the reason why is because of what I'm going to share with you today. There's certain things that we did that caused us to be able to handle those difficult clients in a different way, to see them in a way that many of our peers out there in the workplace, in the marketplace doing this work did not see them. And I know because I used to go to the meetings, all I would do is complain about the clients. And they always think, here's they call me Mr. Optimistic. Here comes Mr. Optimistic. And I said, yeah, but guess what? 75% of my clients are staying on the job for 2 years. 90% of my youth clients are graduating from school. So call me whatever you want. Call me whatever you want. That's why. It's because of what we've created. So let me go into this because I think it's going to be beneficial. And matter of fact, I still can't get rid of them young folks, even though it was a long time ago, they still calling me. They're all adults now with families and all of that. They still calling. I say, yo, They said, Coach, you ain't never gonna let us go. And so I just want to, talk about knowing who you are for just a moment because, and then you're going to see some things. This is going to be connected to what we do, but it starts with us. And that's what I hope that you get out of my session today, that the power of client impacts start with the power of internal impact because the client is going to come in, right? What they have to offer. And typically they don't know what I'm telling you now. They have not been exposed to this information. So they're not gonna come in, with emotional intelligence and all that kind of stuff, because they never probably even heard of it before. But you have. And so I'm gonna just share a few things and I'm gonna just have you write a few things down and we'll be going. We won't, but I love this quote. When there is hope for the future, there is power in the present. And so what I'm gonna ask you, like for you, as well as those people you serve, and I will almost beg you, don't look at them for where they are right now. It's hard, it's difficult, and it can be challenging. But I want to let you know that one of the things that we had, things that we did in our programs, I mentioned we had an adult and youth program, is we always looked at future potential. Now, were we frustrated? Yes. Did we have clients walk in with attitudes all day long? But our thing was always this. We can't control what a person's going to say or do, but we can control our response to it. Please write that down. I cannot control what a person is going to say or do, but I can control my response to it. Okay, this is coaching, so I just want to coach you a little bit. I can't control what a person can say or is going to say or do. All right. So real quick, because I'm only going to keep you for a short period of time. When you hear that statement, what does it mean to you? I can't control what a person's going to say or do, but I can control my response to it. Somebody, please, just anyone, one person.
My response is my responsibility.
Oh, who is that dude you've been listening to?
I'm I just want to take a moment and say, and like obviously we know people should know that, but like I feel like phrasing it in that way like has
Yep,
really helped me. So
that's
I've always
cool.
appreciated that. Thank you.
Isn't that so cool? Now, Pierre, I've always told Pierre he needs to write a book. That's a book for him. I can't get that guy to write a book. But this one right here, what I just said, I've been saying this for 25 years. And it's funny. And Pierre and I kicked in, we've known each other for about 15 years. And so we both said, I said, dog, that's the same thing. But his sound better. I like it because it's easier. But it is. Now, like you said, it's hard. How many of you, by show of hands, put your hands up, know that's hard. Come on, let's be real. I'm not going to sit here, act like that's easy. That's hard. Okay. But the point being, and you all, I've known many of you for a long period of time. You've been working from day one, and that is, this is just all mindset stuff, you know. So our ability to impact the lives of the clients we serve starts in the inside, not the outside. It really does. It starts inside, and so I'm going to explain that in just a few moments. But don't realize that. So that doesn't mean that I can be Mr. or Mrs. Optimistic and those clients are going to be like, oh, thank you. You know, it just that's not the way I'm talking about. But what it means is we can start, and so the thing is a few things. Well, it's impossible to see the picture when you're inside the frame. My hope in the past 12 months, and then for a few hours per month, was to have you look at the beauty of the picture. Now that may sound weird, but like, when I see your smiles and I see who you are, and I've gotten to know all of you, you're committed. You stand with this because you're committed to the task, you know? And so you have to see the beauty of what you're doing because it's so difficult, man, when you work in an industry where people have multiple barriers to things. It's so easy to get consumed by the day. But I want you to understand what we were trying to do in our work was have you put systems in place so that you can sit back and really analyze, the beauty of what it is that you're doing here on a day-to-day basis. Because no matter, even though you may not see it, you are impacting lives. And so when in doing so, you better position yourself in the potential in your clients. That's just some things to think about. And so what I recently learned about mindset, somebody, I didn't see who it was, but somebody who said that they took neurosciences. Who had a class in neurosciences? Somebody said that.
Me,
Who was that? I can't
Melissa.
see. Marissa, what was your experience with it? Could you just tell us real quick?
Oh, it was honestly, I had to drop it because it was so hard. Like it really was. My partner was like, "We can do it," and I was like, "No, I can't." Like I didn't think
Yeah,
like from what
yeah,
I tried really hard in that class, and it was just beyond my
yeah.
capability to
Well,
comprehend.
oh, I'll tell you something. It's brutal for me right now. The stuff they're going into is blowing my head off. I'm like, you gotta be kidding
hmm
me. To try to do what and what? You know,
Like
and
like reading
so
the book was nice. Like I liked
mhm,
reading it and like doing it, but then like the how the teacher like did the exams and like the coursework and stuff like that,
yeah,
like I couldn't
yep, yeah. That
do
was
it.
difficult. That was difficult. Yeah,
Hmm
okay. All right. Yep, and you're absolutely right. So let me kind of, if I can, share something that I've learned by being in this class. And trust me, I'm teaching this to you, but I'm still learning it as I teach it. I learn teaching about I'm learning it. The brain is like a computer. It is activated by programming. Now, how many of you ever heard that before? Anybody ever hear that before? All right. So when you hear that, Lizette, what does that sound like to you? Like what if you can break it down just a little bit, what does it sound like?
It's like a conditioning.
Say it
Like
again?
it's like a conditioning, like certain things will
Yeah.
trigger a certain way to
Mhm.
do things.
Yeah. Let me ask you another question. Do you think your clients who come in with the worst attitudes in the world, yes, let's say you had a client that they come in and you're dealing with a real tough client, do you think they even know that they may know that they're being what they are, but do you think they 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 understand the programming that's took place to cause them to think that way? Do you think that yes, no, maybe so?
Maybe
Yeah,
so.
maybe so. Yeah, it could be. But I'll put it to you like this. I mentioned to you earlier, the Daryl I was is not the Daryl that I am. But back then, I didn't know I was the Daryl that I was. That was normal to me. So one thing you got to realize when these folks walk into the door, even though we don't like it sometimes, it's normal to them. And so just like that man said to me, I'm a Renaissance man, and it changed my life. You can say something to a person and it can change theirs. That's the beauty of it. All right. So what this course so this course is teaching me is the mind is what activates the brain, and so our thoughts and all those different things is what triggers. So, for instance, as I'm moving my hands right now, my mind is telling. This is gonna sound weird, Jeff. Please don't think I'm weird, but my mind is telling my brain to move my hands. And the brain is like the semiconductor. Is the inside thing. Like, okay, that's what you want. You got it. Okay. This is like I said, I remember I told you it's weird and it's scary at the same time. It's spooky. Like Lizette. Go, put your hand in. What are you thinking?
You will love the book. It's called The Power of Now. I let
I
Sarah
heard of that book.
borrow it, but it's literally like you have to learn how to control your mind, not let your mind control you.
Bingo.
Because if that all hell breaks loose. But yes, it's a good
Can
book.
I can I say something to y'all? Thank you so much for y'all. Can I be honest? Yeah, I've always been honest anyway, right? There's times I'm sitting here with y'all doing these programs, and I just went through hell on earth. Y'all with me on that one? Can y'all feel me, coach? Give me like, yeah, I mean, literally hell on earth, but I'm here motivating y'all. And why can I do that? Because of what Lizette just said. Because your organization in South Central did not contract me to come to here to have talk to you about hell on earth. You know what I'm saying? They contracted me to come in here to provide strategies and client connections and all these different things, team building. So guess what? I got to tell that stuff that trying to mess with me in that moment, shut up. Shut up. All right. And so write the third one down. We need to work on our mindset. Please write that one down. And what I mean by working on our mindset is that book Growth Mindset that Dr. Carol Dweck wrote is really good to go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. So when we're working with people in the people business, we want to have a growth mindset. Friends, that's not saying that, you know, that we're here to be perfect. Please don't take that from me because I hate when consultants and speakers and motivators, everything is like. No, man, this is work. Shoot. Somebody comes in with a bad attitude, that frustrates you. You're human. But what I'm trying to say is to show you how to get control of it to some extent so that you can change the situation. That's all I'm talking about. All right. And so why is that? Collectively, and I'm sure every leader that within your organization, Sean included, wants us all to show up our best selves every day. Just give it, all we can do is give it our best, and our clients want us to. Every client you've seen and dealt with, I've seen it dealt with too. So that's been the uniqueness of our work for years. I'm not on the outside looking in. I've done this before. And I still am, but there's some customers we're actually still working directly with their clients. Regularly, coaching them, training them. We have some contracts where we're meeting a couple times a month, like we meet, and we're teaching them certain works like skills, resume writing and all that kind of stuff, but also workplace success skills. So it's really, your brain is like a computer. All it's going to do is what the mind inputs. That was when I first heard that. I said, oh God, I got work to do. Because I got so much stuff that tries to float around this old doggone head of mine. I'm a father with 4 kids. Sometimes my kids get on my nerves. I've been married 30 years. Sometimes my wife gets on my nerves. I'm sure I get on hers. But guess what? I got to reel it back in because guess what? Tomorrow we're going to see each other again. Guess what? Hey, baby, here I am. That's my wife. Got to hug, kiss, and make up and keep trucking. All right. Mindset areas of impact: using emotional intelligence as a tool for workplace and life success, seeing clients through the eyes of potential. Real quick, I'm just going to give the self-care and wellness. Okay. First one I want to talk about is the self-care. Please write this quote down. Self-care is a precursor to wellness. That's all. People don't realize we talk about wellness. It starts with self-care. It's a precursor. Rachel and I talked about this, and I told her, I said, I agree. It's just such a big, big thing. And people think, Coach, come on, man, do we have to do all this? Yeah, if you want a quality of life, you do. I'll be honest with you, I like having a good quality of life. I don't like being frustrated all the time. I don't like living in the mode of anger and bitterness. Shoot, it's my freaking life. Excuse the language, but it's the truth. Well, I can make that choice. And so one of my early mentors taught me, Daryl, the reality is this: you got to make the choice on what you want and then work towards that. If you want peace of mind, work towards it. If you want a better career, work towards it. All these different things, But this is important. Self-care is a precursor to wellness. That's important. Believe it or not, the better we take care of ourselves, the easier it is to deal with challenging situations. Okay? I'm gonna tell you something I started doing recently. This is just I'm telling you that I'm working on this too. I started going to bed a little bit earlier because I realized I wasn't getting enough rest. So I'm forcing myself to go to bed by 10, 10:30, get up at 6. That gives me at least 7 hours of sleep. When I sleep through the night, which most time I don't. Because I understand this body, as much as we want to keep going, this body and this mind is fueled by what's going on inside of it. So we got to do things to strengthen ourselves. And so control burnout, journal your activities. Please write that down. I know I've asked you 1,000 times, but I can't make you. But I'm telling you, journaling is one of the most powerful tools on the planet. Get you a journal. Anybody journal here? I know we talked about it. Anybody journal? That's what I'm saying. And just every day write down something. Here's mine right here. All right. I got to get a new one because this one is running out. Just write down something, like write down a goal, write down a mindset, write down something today, and another thing I do, I'm just giving you some tools, okay, is I do affirmations. Because guess what? I work with you all, but I work with a lot of other people. So I have to constantly, y'all my favorites, of course. Y'all my people. Y'all my faves. You know that. I honestly don't say that to everybody. Because some folks ain't my faves. All right. I gotta, Bridget, I gotta do my responsibility sometime on these calls. So everybody ain't like y'all. All right. But take regular mental breaks during the day by pausing and just breathing. Just step away and just breathe a little bit so you can have a sense of control. Now, self-care, I'm not here to, we don't have enough time to go through each of one of those things. And but self-care is physical, it's mental, it's psychological, it's community, it's all those things. Can I beg you to please make it a priority? I do. I'm working on it every day. Because I'm telling you, man, I need it. Especially the world we live in today. I don't even watch the news no more. I'm done with the news. It's too negative for me. I just can't take it no more. So I stay away from it. I may read something every now and then because I just can't deal with all the stuff that's going on. I got to take control of it. So the first thing is self-care, okay? And then we want to look at emotional intelligence, okay? Dr. Daniel Goleman has a book on emotional intelligence. We talked about this. This is how you really work it on you. He says EQ, which is emotional quotient, is more important than IQ. So what he's trying to say is you can be, all right, you can be, smart, but emotionally unstable. All right. So let's work on that. This good book right here, you've seen the book before. I'm telling you, I'm a book person. And I always tell people, at least, if you don't read at all, at least 2 times a year, try to read at least 2 books. You know what I mean? Just take some time to read because you gain new knowledge. But this is from an assignment standpoint, the last one was the journal. Journal your self-care, put a few things in there. The second thing I want you to do is learn these 2 things right here: self-regulation and self-awareness. Self-regulation, Bridget, you already said it. My response is my responsibility. Period statement. That means I don't always have to respond what I'm thinking. Anybody, you ever said something and said, "Oh, if I can only reel that in." Yeah, self-regulation helps you to reel it in before you say it. So, like the 10-second rule. So with clients, you always want to be ears first. Even with your teammates, ears first, because this is what we don't know. We don't know each person's situation. And so what happens, my friends, is we respond based upon how we feel, not necessarily knowing what's going on with that person. So self-regulation is controlling it. Self-awareness is understanding my moods, my impulses, and their impact on other people. These are 2 very powerful tools in our industry that my team and I used before this book was even written. And so what it does is listen, please write this down. This gives me the power. Please write that down. Matter of fact, type it in the chat feature. This gives me the power. I want you to be powerful. And you can't be powerful if I'm jumping all over the place emotionally because of all the stuff that's going on. Type that in the chat feature. Thank y'all for taking the time. All right. And self-awareness. All right. Does anybody have any tools that they may use to control their responses to situations? Does anybody have anything that they've tried? It could be anyone. Go ahead, tell us. Go ahead. If you can just unmute and tell us what you're thinking.
Sometimes when I'm mad at my boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
instead of saying what I want to say to him, I'll text it to my best friend.
Bingo. There you go. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. And he don't even know you said it. But at least you got it out. That's it. But guess what? You feel better. You got it out and boom.
I will go for a walk. So my therapist said if your heart rate is over 100, you're not in a mental state to be having a conversation.
Bingo.
Go walk, calm down, and come back to the conversation once you're calm.
Boom. Boom. I love that. And I like the fact you said your therapist, because I'm telling you, it's good to have one. I'm telling you, it's good to have somebody helping guide you through this stuff. It really is. You know what I mean? I'm a huge fan of getting help, man, because I've had therapists on multiple occasions. You know what I mean? And so that's beautiful. Thank you, Bridget. Appreciate that. And so, yeah, just take a walk. You know what you call that, friends? Listen to this term. You've heard it before, a coping mechanism. Write that down if you haven't heard of it and Google it. Coping mechanism. Because what that does is put you in a position of power when you're dealing with people. Not power like you're controlling them, but they can see you and admire the way you handle things. In our industry, we want to be that way because we deal with too many people on a day-to-day basis. You know what I mean? To go from one emotional state to the next emotional state, the next one you know you have what's called compassion fatigue and you're tired. So keep in mind, this is the next assignment I want y'all to do. And within a week, please email me and let me know how you're doing with some of these. Some of y'all email me, some of you don't. But just email. I mean, that's what I'm here to serve. So I want to see what you're doing and how you're working with this stuff. All right. And so and then seeing clients out of eyes of potential is powerful. Let me tell you a quick story. We'll be done here in about 5 minutes. There's a young man we worked in our youth program. You've heard the story before, some of y'all, but it's worthy of sharing again. His name was Corey. Okay. And Corey was one of those young people, you're like, okay, I can take all of about 5 minutes of you. Because he was just attitude personified, man. This guy was something else. As a matter of fact, when his grandmother enrolled him in our program, she said, I just want to let you know he's something else. And after 5 minutes with him, I said, I see exactly what she's saying. But our team came together and said, she brought him in here to be a part of this program for a reason. It was a summer employment, and year round, we had stuff in the schools. Well, this back then, you would go to the schools and actually work with the students in the schools. And so we said, we're going to show this guy how powerful he is, how awesome he is. Because we saw potential in it, but he was all pent up in his, remember the paradigm thing we talked about earlier, perception? He didn't know it. And so I'm not going to go into a story because it becomes a speech, but we worked with him. We put him in situations that he wasn't comfortable with because he had never done them before. Whenever he would get upset, we would reframe it and say, that's a future lawyer. All that arguing. We did all kinds of stuff with this guy. And to make a long story short, he was out of school because they kicked him out. We were able to get him back in school. In the first marketing period, this kid had a 3.75 grade point average. Same kid that was about to fail out of school, same kid that people gave up on, and all of that. Why? We reframed the situation. It is the power behind life situations. And reframing is basically, it's not like the situation doesn't exist. I just see it differently. Does that make sense? Somebody explain, what did you just hear me say? Somebody talk to me. Could be anybody. Talk to me. What is
It's like learning, how they
Yes.
learn,
Yeah.
like visual, hands-on, auditory type learner. So he might have been uncomfortable, but once y'all reframed it, he was good to go.
Bingo. And yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So the reframing is he didn't necessarily change in that moment. We did. But over time, he changed because he kept getting that same stimulus all the time. This is how you connect. If you have any long-term interactions with clients, this is how you win them over. It's not, going toe to toe with them. It's not avoiding them because I really don't want to talk to them. It's reframing and looking at the situation. There he is right there. You know what I mean? And there he's a football coach now. That guy. I made him pay a truckload to take me out to dinner. Somebody want to take me out to dinner. I said, yeah, we ain't going to no cheap restaurant either. Said, boy, you can open up that checkbook and whip out that credit card. But great guy, great kid. They ain't kid anymore, but beautiful children, doing quite well. All right. And so mindset with Corey is, any of you ever heard of trauma-informed care? Trauma-informed care. Let me give you, this is just quick and it will be done. Trauma-informed care is a thing that really it came out about 8, 9 years ago and everybody was jumping all over it. But it changed the language in dealing with challenging people, challenging clients, challenging students. It changed it from, why is that person like that? Listen to this. This is important. To what happened to them that caused them to be like that. You see, what's the difference between the two? Talk to me real quick. What is that? What's the difference? Why is he like that? I wonder what caused him to be like that. Somebody tell me what the difference between the two is. Yes.
They might be ignorant to their situation, that
Mm-hmm.
they just react like that instead of, the second one. Like, I wonder what he's going through
Right.
to act like this. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's good. Tony, what about you? What do you think when you hear that? What are you thinking? If you can come off from mute. I know some of y'all have.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So you said reframe situations, right?
Mm-hmm. And trauma-informed care, like going from why is this person like that to what happened to cause them to be that way? What's the difference? When you hear those two, what do you hear differently?
I just think of people trying to grow from the situations,
Mm-hmm.
like look at it from a different perspective to get a
Yes.
greater outcome.
Yes. And you know what it is, Tony? A lot of our clients have trauma that they're dealing with. And so that's why trauma-informed care, we have trauma. Come on now, forget just our clients. We deal with
Yeah,
stuff.
everybody has trauma.
We all deal with this stuff, right? And so I'm saying with this, use it as a tool to reframe how we're interacting with the clients. You know what I mean? Just use it as a tool. And I would encourage you, if you have group meetings, sometime maybe have a conversation about it. You know what I mean? I can't really see what's going on in the chat feature, but yeah, there it is. Offering compassion instead of judgment. Bingo. That's good. Bridget, you need to write a book. You got good statements and quotes there. But so that's an assignment for you. If you have a client that comes into the next week and they're a little bit on edge, reframe it. Just try it. And then say to them, maybe like, hey, I'm here to serve. How can I serve you? Or, how can I help you? Because a lot of times when people are like challenged or whatever, they almost welcome that same type of paradigm. But you throw them off when you don't go there with them. That's how we changed Corey. We wouldn't go there with them. So that's all I got today. I mean, just journal your self-care. You know what I mean? Look at this emotional intelligence. Look at Dr. Goleman's work. But remember self-regulation and self-awareness. Self-regulation being able to regulate, self-awareness being the ability to understand what I'm doing, what I'm doing right this moment is impacting somebody. How do I control it? So do me real quick. These are 45 minutes. We got 4 minutes left. In the chat feature, tell me one thing you learned today or one thing you're going to do as a result of today. All right. And Bridget, this is going to be videotaped. This could be a good review if you want to go back and have everybody. So so let's take a few moments and do that. I want to know what you learned today. And Sean, thank you, man, for being. I know you had to run, but you stayed in. I appreciate that. It's good to have your team, have the team here. You hear what we're doing with everybody. Appreciate you being here.
No, man, I do find there's a lot of value in these, so I'm happy when I'm able to sit back and listen. And these guys give a lot of really, really solid insight, and I appreciate them.
No, I appreciate you too, man. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Yep. Yep. Okay. Melissa said I should read more. All right, Melissa, you're gonna get you a couple books, girl. Start reading.
I have so many. I love the idea of reading, but
Yeah.
I don't have the
Yeah.
attention span to sit there.
Yeah, self-regulation. Good, good, good. All right. Ms. Martinez, what'd you learn today? Yeah, I can see. I see your glasses. That's about far. There you go. Now I see you.
Sorry, I don't usually look at myself when I'm on the camera, so I didn't realize my whole
Okay.
face.
That's okay.
There.
That's all right. It's good to see you, friends. So
good
I
to
like
see
these.
you.
Yeah. So offering compassion. Okay. Everyone needs a trauma-based care. That if you guys, I'm telling you, you should really have a conversation around trauma-informed care. There's all kinds of free stuff out there because a lot of times we're dealing with people that have trauma and they don't even know they have trauma. How many you have people in your life that have trauma that know that they don't have trauma? Come on, how many? Seriously. I always tell people probably a good 80% or 90% of conflict in families is because of trauma. Something happened to mom, something happened to dad, something happened to husband, something happened to wife, and they come together, and then all of a sudden they can't figure out why we can't seem to have peaceful because we're dealing with stuff from our past and it was never dealt with. And so what I always tell people with trauma informed in this space, just you can't change a person, but reframe situations. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good. That's good, Bridget. Yep, absolutely. And it is. You're right. Now that's a whole nother lesson. I'm not gonna go into that one. I've experienced that 1,000 times. So we'll leave that one alone. So in the week, you got my email. Just give me this real quick. All right. Email me what you're gonna do. You got the journal, do the self-care, do those things because again, I'm strengthening from the inside out. And I think it makes it easier to do this work when we start working on ourselves because we can't control other situations. We can't. But I'm proud of you all because the majority of you have been here for the lion's share of this time, man. And that says a lot. I work with a lot of groups, within 2 months it's a total different look. And that has not been the case here. So Sean, good job, you teams, man. Y'all doing all right. I appreciate it. And you're trying to hopefully encourage a little bit more time with y'all. We'll see. But I've enjoyed what we've had so far. So we got one more session in August for now. For now, I'm gonna say for now. Maybe we can go a little longer. And thank you all for your time. And please, this is for you. I'm here. I'm part of your team, so this is here for you. So we'll see y'all. Take care. Send me your follow up. Okay. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye bye now.